Okay, good afternoon. This is Julie Hibben with IDPH. I want to welcome you to our supervisor update call for the Partnerships for Success grant. Just a quick reminder, if you would please make sure that you mute your line. I think we're getting some feedback. So if you're on the phone, especially if you could just mute your line or just mute your phone, we'd appreciate that. Those of you who are on the computer, hopefully you can see the agenda on your screen, and just have a couple of things to share with you today that I think will be helpful as we move forward with the grant. And then I also want to hear from you and just how things are going, or if there are any concerns that you have. Definitely want to hear about the things that are going well in the project. So why don't we just go ahead and hear from all of you first. So, and you can just pop in and share whenever you'd like. So a couple things I'd like to hear about are a recent success related to the implementation steps. So how are things going? And then if there's any new partnerships that have been created or strengthened as a result of the PFS grant, we'd like to hear about that too. And if you have any questions for the other supervisors that are on the call, you can certainly ask those as well. So who would like to go first?
This is Tessa with Helping Services.
Hi, Tessa.
Hey, one of the recent successes I would say is working on the community events. We had the chamber and they ended up creating several policies for different events that they hold throughout the summer. And then a partnership that's been created or strengthened, I would have to say that the convenience stores have been strengthened. I mean, it's not exactly where we want it to be yet with them creating policies, but I think that it's moving in the right direction with that.
That's great. And I know that can be, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I didn't have any other questions right now, I guess. I don't know how many other supervisors have strategies that they know they're not going to meet. Like, for instance, we have strengthening families that we're not going to meet. So I didn't know if there's other of you guys that are in the same boat, or where you guys are all at with that.
And if you want, maybe Tessa, what we could do is just share, if you want to, supervisors, if you want to share where you're at as far as the short-term outcomes go. I think you're all aware that there's a disincentive connected to short-term outcome completion during this fiscal year. So maybe as you're giving your update, if you want to just share how you think that's progressing, that would
that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tessa. Who'd like to go next?
This is Shelley. I'll go.
Hi, Shelley.
Hi. Webster County is our county, and we've also had a lot of success with the community events. We have a big, it's a concert every summer. Celebration is what it's called, and they had Huey Lewis in the news, and they'll be having like some country music thing this summer too. And they did pass policy that they would have signage, and then they also made the signage available to the Dragon Boat Racing Committee, who was a little hesitant at first, but once they heard about Celebration, they went ahead and did the same thing. And strengthened relationships would be with those community event organizers. At first, they were not very warm and friendly for Mickey, but they really have proven to be a good partner.
Great.
And then our short-term outcomes, I think that she has actually already met all of them. The only thing we're a little concerned about is that, and we're gaining some confidence in it too, is the social host we had in that we wanted to do a countywide ordinance. And we kind of met some resistance. One of the Board of Supervisors kind of spoke for the whole group. We have two new ones in, and Mickey has met with one of them who's a former law enforcement officer. Mm-hmm. He also sits on our board, and he is supportive of it. So we feel like we're even making some progress there. So.
Good. That's great. Well, thank you for the update.
Yeah. Thanks.
Who'd like to go next?
Mary can go next.
Hi, Mary.
Good afternoon. This is Emmett County, and success would be in terms of implementation is they completed their first safety checkpoint and saturation patrol, and that was very good. And then the key people that with partnership is definitely law enforcement. The sheriff is the chair of the coalition, and that's huge. The law enforcement in the city of Vesterville and the county of Emmett County have always been at odds. We haven't changed that yet, but they are working together on these projects.
Good.
That is
That's fabulous.
very, very good. And then a big piece is the superintendent of schools is now attending a coalition meetings as a result of face-to-face meetings that we had with her and administration. So that's been some time coming. We had to overcome some barriers from the high school principal, but moving to her, she now is on board. You can see the benefit to the community that will actually reach the school. And that was the objection by the high school principal, that we weren't spending money in the school. Why are we paying people to do what we were doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking we made major progress.
Yes, you did. That was a huge challenge for the county this year. And I know Jody had updated me a couple times on the things that were happening. So you've definitely made progress. So that's great news. And then short-term outcome completion, Mary.
I think we're clear.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
This is Jonathan with Jackson. I'd be happy to go next.
Great. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, everybody. So we're in Woodbury County. A couple successes we've had since our last call. We've done another round of party patrols, and this time they actually were able to issue some citations to underage drinkers. It's the first time we were able to do that. And another success for implementation is that one of the colleges we're partnered with, they let us know that they are adopting a policy change relative to our work. So now when people get a citation for possession in the alcohol-free dorms, there's going to be a policy change that they're going to be required to go through the e-check up to go and basics program as a penalty for that.
Wow. That's good news.
Yeah, it was very spontaneous and unexpected. So that's positive. That was one of the short-term outcomes that we were concerned about, but that one is now met. The only two that we have concerns about right now, one is just trying to get the schools involved deeper to have a subcommittee of students, administrators, and faculty within each school. Most of the schools are adopting the attitude of, well, we already send somebody to your coalition meeting, so we really don't need anything more than that. So that's been a bit of a challenge.
Sure.
And we had a short-term outcome of sending at least 50 students through the basics program. But what we're finding is the referrals are steady, but they first have to go through the e-check up to go pre-screen. And then if they don't meet the criteria, they're not referred to basics.
So your numbers are lower because of that.
Because of that. So we weren't sure if we should discuss trying to change the outcome from going through basics to going through e-check up to go. That was going to be a discussion we'd have with you on the side. But.
Sure. Yeah, feel free to contact me, and that goes for all of you. If you, we have to be a little bit careful about what we can change, at least for this fiscal year. But
Right.
If it's something that's related to maybe some data or maybe a survey or something that you weren't aware, maybe, or is giving you the information you were hoping to receive, then those are things we can look at. But we can certainly have discussions with any of you that want to talk about your short-term outcomes. So feel free to contact me and we'll set something up. Okay. So feel free to do that, Jonathan, if you'd like. And
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for the update.
I can go. This is Christy. Is everything coming all right? I'm not in the office.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. So Christy Jenkins with New Opportunities, Audubon and Sac counties. I think everything is on track for Sac County. Have a really great relationship with law enforcement. We've got this coming weekend a community event coming up in Lakeview. I think it's the 64th annual Water Carnival. So that will be interesting. That was a place where we'd had some previous policy work done under IPFS. So I think we maybe someone do a safety checklist there as part of that sustainability. And then for Audubon, we have a new coordinator hired. I believe she started out as part-time due to some previous commitments. She's going full-time this coming Monday. And Brandy has stayed on board to help get her trained and help with the deliverables that are coming due. So that's a great success. We will not be meeting the short-term outcome for Audubon with Crime for Life after the training. The people who are going to be the instructors or facilitators for that did not like the 0, 1, 2, 3 and continue even after discussions I've had, maintain that class is teaching them how to drink or telling them that it's okay to drink. And I'm like, no, the 0, 1, 2, 3 says no, you don't, but they aren't buying it. So we are back to the drawing board there and going to be approaching them this school year with plan B, which I think will probably be life skills. So we'll need to talk more to figure out what that's going to look like. But other than that, law enforcement relationships have just been phenomenal for both counties, which has been very exciting. So
that's great.
Because both counties have some pretty law enforcement heavy strategies. So other than the individual strategy in Audubon, I think we're in a really good place.
Good. That's great. I'm glad you have a new coordinator coming on board, and it was wonderful, Brandy, to stay on to help with the transition too. So appreciate that, and thanks for the update. All right, who would like to go next?
This is Jean.
Oh, go ahead, Jean.
Okay. This is Jean Bossop from McKee County.
Hi.
Hi. Things are going well here. One of the biggest successes that we've had is that we not only met our short-term outcomes for implementation of our media campaign, but we've actually exceeded our long-term outcome.
That's fabulous.
So
great.
yes, so everybody's pretty excited about that.
Great.
I guess lots of good partnerships. Max has worked really hard with one of our school districts that's been a little more hesitant to come on board, and got them last year on board to participate in the Iowa Youth Survey after they hadn't for a while. And we're working with her on a couple of different things, and our relationship with law enforcement is great. We actually had a police chief stop in today and kind of brainstorm a few things for Ragbri that's coming through town. Our stop is the last stop, so it's the party stop. So kind of talking about some things we could do to try to discourage underage drinking as much as we possibly can.
Good.
So yeah, things are going very well here. I don't have any concerns, and I think everything outcome-wise is looking really good.
Great. Well, thank you for that update. I'm glad things are progressing well in your neck of the woods. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, who would like to share next?
This is Mary from Clayton County,
Hi.
and things are going well here also. One of our recent successes is the protocol for safety checkpoints has been approved, and those are underway. We are on track to meet all of our short-term outcomes. One of the partnerships that has been really strengthened as a result of the grant is with our Board of Supervisors. They actually asked for some additional information regarding the Iowa Youth Survey and some data points.
Nice.
So that was nice that they were actually asking questions.
Sure. That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
And I think that's all I've got.
Okay. That's good news. All right. Thank you for sharing. I'd like
This
to
is
go.
Vicki with Pathways.
Hi, Vicki.
Hello. One of the successes we've had with implementation is we think we're going to get a park policy passed in Lawler. And that was the county that has the all-night softball tournament. We've been working on this for probably 5 years.
I remember
Okay.
that. Yes.
Go in and talk to the Board of Supervisors for even bringing it up 5 years ago. And now they're getting ready to pass it. So really, really excited about that.
That's great.
And let's see, what else was I supposed to do here? There is one short-term outcome where it probably will not meet, and that's going to be the convenience stores. 2 of the 16 convenience stores will have developed or strengthened new policies.
Mm-hmm.
Really struggling with the convenience stores, and we've been and visited them several times. We had one that said that they would do it, and then the manager moved. So it's been a bit of a struggle for that one.
Yeah.
So.
And Vicki, I'm sure Carol told you, but I did talk to her and just gave her some suggestions of things potentially that she could do. And so, for all of you, if your coordinators are continuing to struggle with a strategy and they're running into a lot of barriers, please have them contact me or contact Janet. And we can certainly connect them with some resources from the CAPT, or we have a partnership with PIRE, or Claire Jones also has some time allocated to do some additional research and technical assistance if you're having a specific issue. So don't be afraid to contact us if you're struggling with something. So Carol seems hopeful, so I'm hoping that there's some additional direction she can go in, and
It's hopeful, but she does take it all on herself. She takes it as something she's not doing right, and I told her there's not much we can do about it if people aren't willing to work with us.
Right. So, and just in our prevention work, sometimes it's like you have a good champion and they move, or an elected official comes on board and is resistant, and so some of those things are out of our control there. But I hopefully there's a couple options she can look into and go down that path, and we'll see. But I told her if she's continuing to run into roadblocks to let us know.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Vicki.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd like to go next?
This is Lisa. I can go next. I was trying to figure out who has gone and who has not gone because I buzzed in a couple different times.
No.
I supervise Appomattox County for the Partnership for Success project, and our recent success was the implementation of life skills that was completed in the 6th grade. Went very well with the facilitator, the teacher who is a certified teacher who facilitated that for us, and so we had just received the report from him. So we're waiting. I have not actually read it yet. I've been working on other things that have come up. So looking forward to that. But it was implemented and it went very well. We're pleased about that. And the partnership that I feel that's been strengthened is our partnership with the State Patrol, because the police department in Centerville, in the main county seat, they don't want to get a black eye, so that's why they won't participate in any of the countermeasures like the saturation patrols, the alcohol retailer establishment walkthroughs, and then the seatbelt enforcement zones. But the State Patrol has taken that on, and they do a really good job. They did the last round over graduation weekend, which was really we're really thankful for that, and they did a good job. So
Good.
we're pleased that that relationship, even though we have a good relationship with the local law enforcement, we feel as though the relationship with the state patrol, the state entity, has been strengthened. So,
Great.
and then one thing that I wanted to share with the short-term outcomes, almost all of them have been achieved. The one that we're working really diligently on is the school policies, because we've been working with language with one of the school districts, and this school district had I don't want to quote it, but a teacher or a chaperone, somebody was drinking in another state with a group of students, and so we've really tried to, trying to compromise with them and discuss with them how important their language is in their policy. There's 3 school districts in Appomattox County. One will not even return a phone call or visit with the subcommittee, the school policy subcommittee, but the other school district is going to they're going to work on that school district at the start of the year. So we're hoping this 2 of the 3 we're hoping will come through. So
Good.
And so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, things are going well, plugging away. So
Great. All right. Well, yeah, sounds like things are progressing. So thank you for the update. Appreciate it. Any other supervisors on the call that we haven't heard from yet? I think we're just missing one. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for sharing. Appreciate that. It's always exciting to hear the good work that's happening through PFS and the policies that are changing and the relationships that are being strengthened. And I think law enforcement is definitely a partner in this project that we've seen across the state, that relationship being strengthened, which is great. They are definitely an advocate for and an ally in the work that we do to address underage drinking. So that's great to hear. So I have a couple of updates to share with you, and I'll try to make these brief. But those of you who are on that receive updates from the Workstation website, I posted some details about our media campaign, the What Do You Throw Away media campaign. I believe it was last week or the week before. We received word from SAMHSA just recently that we were awarded our carryover dollars. We submitted that carryover request to SAMHSA in November of 2016. And so there's a lot of I think challenges going on at the federal level, just like at the states level across the country. So we were notified. We'd also heard that there was a chance that our carryover request would be cut in half, but we did receive our full amount. So we didn't share details about that beforehand because we didn't know if we were going to receive the funding. We didn't want folks to count on that because we didn't know. So we did receive it. We've been working with ZLR Ignition, who IDPH is contracting with again to provide marketing services. Those of you who are involved in SPIFSIG are familiar with that group. And they are the ones that created the What Do You Throw Away media campaign. So we are going to be working on refreshing the campaign. It's been about 6+ years now since we created that campaign. So it's time to put kind of a new spin on it. And so there's a variety of materials that they're going to be creating for us, and they're also going to be posting some for all of you and some other places across the state, some marketing materials. And so those are all laid out. If you didn't get the announcement, go back in the announcement section of the Workstation, and all the details are there. But we're going to be creating a new television ad. We'll be creating a new radio ad, some online banners, some new posters, and then I believe, and then we're updating our media campaign website, and we're going to make sure that it's mobily accessible, which it's not currently, and we'll be updating the information that's on the website as well. So all those components will be available. They're going to be kind of rolled out in stages. And so when they are available, we'll let you all know, and we'll let you know how you can access them. So right now we've been working with them graphic designer through IDPH, but some of those responsibilities may be put on ZLR's shoulders. That's kind of yet to be decided. So the time frame is pretty tight for ZLR. So I think some of the materials are hopefully going to be available by the end of July, the beginning of August. And so as soon as they are, we will be posting an announcement about those next steps. We are also going to be putting up some billboards in all of your counties that we are funding ourselves. And then there's going to be some online media that we're going to be providing to your county, including some ads on YouTube and Spotify, which is a radio station. And then there was one more, Spotify, YouTube, and I cannot remember the last one. So just know that those things will be happening. We'll be sharing more information as we know it. Like I said, we didn't know if we were going to even get our carryover this year, honestly, with the challenges that the federal level is having with budgets. So I apologize that we weren't able to share more details ahead of time, but things were very much in flux until the last kind of second. So just know that that's happening. Also, RFA update, my hope is that it will be posted next week or early the week after. We are trying really hard. We've had some challenges with some of our state grants that all got pushed back, as probably many of you are aware, and that's pushed back timelines for federal grants. So my hope is that by midweek next week or late next week, that RFA will be posted. I think once again, it'll be similar to previous years. You will be creating a work plan for fiscal year 18. And if you need guidance on that process, just let me know. And I'll talk more about that in just a minute. So just know that that is going to be coming. Just be prepared, and you'll have probably close to a month to complete it. Our plan is to have contracts or the notice of intent to award ready by the beginning of September, and have contracts in your hands by the end of September. So that's our goal. Just a reminder, when you're spending out funds, that there is no carryover of these federal dollars at the subrecipient level. So please make sure that you're working really hard to spend out your dollars as much as you can. If you need to make a budget revision, I would much rather just contact me, and I will work with you on that. If you need to move money around, that's kind of above and beyond the 10% total amount, or there's something new in your budget that you didn't anticipate that you need to fund, please just let me know, and I'm happy to work with you on that. We've heard from SAMHSA that probably in future years, there will be no carryover monies that states can access. So just know we want you to work really hard to spend down your money, and we're doing the same at the state level. Training and technical assistance, as I shared a little bit earlier, just know that if there is, I can't say this enough, but if there's a need that you have, or if your coordinator is struggling with a specific strategy, just ask that you or the coordinator contact us and let us know. We do have Claire Jones as a resource. We also have connections to some other federal technical assistance providers that we can put you in touch with. So we want you to be successful with your strategies, and sometimes we just don't know that there are issues happening unless you're sharing it with us, or we're hearing that from a capacity coach. So if you're really struggling, you don't have to suffer in silence. Please contact us and let us know. Site visit forms, I think we're pretty close to being completed with site visits. I'm trying to close up a couple of site visits. So if you haven't worked with me to figure out next steps to close up your site visit, I will be either in touch with you or be sharing some additional information. The site visit form isn't the easiest thing in the world to utilize. I apologize. I have to pull up my instructions every time I go into that form because there's so many different components to it. So if you're struggling, don't be afraid to contact me, and I'll work with you on those steps. I believe there's 2 counties I haven't set up site visits in yet, and I will be doing that. I believe it's Sac and Audubon. So Christy, I'll be in touch with you probably in the next 2 weeks to figure out those next steps. We wanted to wait until a new coordinator came on board before we decided to set that up. So just know that that's going to be coming. progress report for quarter 4, we're going to be giving you some instructions on filling that out, but this is going to be the time where you capture whether you actually completed that short-term outcomes or not. And so we will be giving you some specifics on how best to fill that out. So just know that that will be coming as we come into the 4th quarter of the project, but just know that that's going to be something that we'll want you to document within the form itself, and we'll tell you exactly how to do that. But just may want to, if you're the one that completes the report, or if the coordinator does, just as a heads up that we will be giving you instructions on how to document that well. Bureau staffing, I want to be really upfront with you. I think you've heard this from me a couple of times, but we are very short-staffed in our bureau right now, and I unfortunately don't see that getting better. As you may have seen in the newspaper, heard on the news, that public health has taken a lot of funding cuts, and there's been a lot of challenges that we've had to deal with internally here. And hiring is just kind of at a crawl, unfortunately. And so if you're really wanting to speak with me or set up a meeting to talk to me about something, I just ask that you send me a quick email and just set up a time. There are days where I'm in meetings the whole entire day, and I may not get to my email until the next day. Sometimes I'm telecommuting, I'm out of the office. So if you call me, I don't have a work cell phone, so I may not get your phone call. So I just ask for your patience as we move through this transition to figure out how best to make sure we're meeting your needs, but knowing that we're just really short-staffed here. And obviously we want to make sure that you get what you need as far as services and technical assistance, but we're trying to make sure we get contracts out the door to you right now, and grants are kind of the priority, and reviewing and making sure that those things get done. So just ask for your continued patience as we make these transitions. And if you do need to talk to me, and you can't get a hold of me on the phone, just send me a quick email and I'll be happy to set up a time to talk to you further. We have a SAMHSA site visit coming up, and those of you who are comp funded, but as well as PFS funded, I may be in touch with you if you're not going to the MPN conference. The SAMHSA block grant site visit is the exact same time as the MPN conference, and that was not my decision. So if SAMHSA is going to be wanting to hear from some providers, and I don't know any of those details yet, but just know that we may be in touch with you, and we don't know if SAMHSA wants folks here, or if we can Zoom people in, or if they're wanting, we just don't know a lot of details. I just want to put that out there, that we may be calling on some of you to see if you have time that week to maybe come in for a couple hours, if it works out in your schedule, to be able to share with SAMHSA. So just know that you will be hearing more details about that in the coming weeks. And then also want to let you know that I know some of you are on our advisory council for, we call it the Prevention Partnerships Advisory Council, but we are working on creating a strategic plan for substance abuse prevention through our department. And we've are contracting with a group called Sage Consulting, and they're out of South Dakota. And they've worked a lot with the CAP at the federal level and working with states on creating strategic plans. So we may be in touch with some of you if we know that you have specific expertise in an area. We are creating some short-term action teams, or we're calling them STATs, and they're going to be helping direct us with and giving us feedback in this strategic planning process. So I know you are all super busy, but we may be calling on some of you to see if you're interested in assisting us. And we'll try to do things virtually as much as possible, but just know that you may be hearing from myself or Janet about that in the coming weeks. Any questions about any of those items? Okay. Well, just a reminder, the MPN conference is happening in California on September 12th through the 14th. Hopefully your coordinators are registered. I'm very sad I'm missing that conference, but hopefully some of you get to go and your coordinators are all registered to go. I also want to let you know this is something that's kind of come about after just a variety of planning that has gone super slow. But a request from a comp supervisor was to do a training on just establishing policy. And we have been working with MCTC and PIRE to set this training up. And right now it's just to save the date. And I know it's coming very quickly, but if you would like to send a coordinator or any of your other staff to this training, it will be free, and we will be providing CEUs. And I believe MCTC is going to be able to provide housing or lodging accommodations. So I'm working as furiously and fast as I can to get the details out, but it's August 9th and 10th, and it will be at MCTC. More details will be coming very quickly, and it's just been very slow. There's been a lot of concerns about funding, and MCTC is kind of in the middle of their funding period, so there's been a lot of moving parts. We've been working on trying to get this training set up since this winter, so it seems like a lot of things that are happening at IDPH are that slow right now. So also, I'd like to hear from any of you if your staff need prevention ethics for certification. And I've heard, I think, from a couple of you that training is needed, but I'd like to hear from you about the timing of when you need that, or if you've got it covered. We're working with a person right now to possibly set this training up, and it would happen early fall, and we're working with MCTC to see if they will be supporting this training from here on out like they do with SAPS. And so we would be offering it twice a year like we do SAPS. So just know that that is coming, and I'm trying to get the system set up and get in place. So do any of your staff need that? So I'd like to hear.
Julie,
Yeah.
Julie, are you talking about the 6 hour or the
Yes.
3 hour for recertification? 6 hour?
The 6 hour.
Okay, yeah. My staff do not need that. So.
Okay.
Mrs. Mary, and yes, we do need it.
Okay. Mary, do you have a time frame? Like as soon as possible? Is there a specific time frame that you're looking at to try to get people through that training?
Well, that would help this person get their certification.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so as soon as we can get it done. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
This is Jonathan with Jackson. I definitely have at least 3 staff that will need it, if not more, depending on how things go with other grant projects. So
Okay.
at least 3.
At least 3. Okay. And Jonathan, what's your time frame? Just as soon as possible?
Fall would probably be fine. That would also give time for, obviously, for anybody that gets awarded the SPIF-RX grant. That would give them time to send their new hire to training if they have a new hire for that. But,
Okay.
Yeah, fall for us.
Okay.
this is Mary too. Before school starts would be best.
Yes, I know.
Because our staff are hustling. So
Yes.
the more days we take out, we lose face in the community.
Yep, I totally understand.
This is Christy. I believe I would also have 3 and echo Mary's sentiment and timing.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. We'll know that we are working as quickly as possible. It's some of it, like I said, we're trying to get some systems set up through MCTC so they can support the training on an ongoing basis. I'm also working, I think I've shared with a couple of you during site visits, that we will create a training calendar at the beginning of the year, so then you all as supervisors can know what trainings are coming up. And if you have staff that need certified, and you have new staff that need to go through SAPs, you know exactly when those are going to be happening so you can plan accordingly. So I'm working hard to try to get that done because I know that would be very helpful to all of you in your planning purposes. So more information to come, and working fast and furiously with MCTC to make that happen. Are there any other items for discussion? Any other questions that you have?
Julie, on the policy training?
Yeah.
What are the basic skill sets or information? I'm just thinking of who we would want to send.
So this is a training that was requested by, like I said, a comp supervisor. And one thing that I don't know if we've done a great job with, even with some of our discretionary grants, is helping people understand just the process of passing policy and what you need to do. I think we've done a lot of work on specific strategies, but I'm not sure that we've done a lot of training on just the process itself. So, what do you need to do? What are some steps that you need to take to make policy change happen? What do you do to ready the community to help with the policy change process? So not one staff member is leading the charge. What do you do when you come against barriers, for instance, with elected officials or law enforcement, and how do you address those? What are some model policies that you can look at? Some resources to help you with policy change efforts. So the Pacific Institute on Research and Evaluation are going to be sending 2 trainers to facilitate the training. One is from the East Coast, I think Massachusetts, and then we have a trainer, Nancy McGee, who I think those of you who worked in SPIFSIG and PFS have heard her before, and she's great. She's from Missouri, and she's a lawyer, and she has law enforcement experience, and she really understands the ins and outs of policy work. So they are going to be facilitating that training. So their hope is that they can meet everyone's needs. So if you've got some staff members that are maybe new to policy change work, that they will help get them a little bit further along. And then if you have some staff that are more advanced, they will be sharing some new resources and helping them do some brainstorming, maybe with challenges they've had. So if you're interested, I will be sharing information with COMP. I'll be sharing information with PFS. It's not required through PFS. Don't feel like you have to send staff, but if you have some extra money and your staff have time to be out of the office the training should be about a day and a half, one full day, and then I think go to early afternoon on the second day. So please be thinking about that.
Hey, Julie, this is Tessa.
Yeah.
My audio went weird for a little bit. Is the policy training the one that's required with comp?
Yes, this is the comp training.
All right, thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions? And those of you who are comp funded, I will be sending out an email about that. I know, Mary, I hear you laughing. Are there any other questions, items for discussion? Okay. All right. Well, thank you again for participating today. Appreciate it. If you need anything, let us know, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks,
Julie, I have a question for you once everybody gets off the call, please.
That is fine. So I'll let everybody get off the call, and then we'll talk.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.